You've got, look at your divergence on your MACD.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting a bit of a show, not necessarily divergence, but it's definitely proving it's a downward trend, right?
Right.
You're trying to match, that's really convergence in that regard, but it's showing that the downward trend is there. We're reaching the top of the testing again, that 60-minute high that's been for how many days now? Been quite a few days. And if we look across we got a little bit of paint, we already lost the paint. Now that can be time of day.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
can be time of day because we're losing any interest. But earlier in the session today, you were over at that red arrow down, and you were getting some of that stuff because that's the time of day stuff when this morning's session didn't have any real paint to it, no real interest, and they pushed it up, which makes me think they may have just been fulfilling that probe to the top of that 60 test again.
Yeah.
So if we look at it and think that it's coming down off of that, if we look at the Three Musketeer, the overall setup now, we get to go back to and start looking. One thing that we didn't look at this morning is that we need to look at your confirmer chart on the bottom left. And if you look at that, we were thinking that it might be rolling down, but it's kind of proven back then that, and that's a 60-minute. It was really showing us that it was still in that, when it's above that T3. If you open that chart up full, Scott,
Yeah.
let that one open up. You could see back this morning session would have been, oh, that chunk, all of that chunk right there. You could see it was above that our moving average, above our T3. We know that that's still confirming kind of that I'm still okay to stay in a buy if I'm in one. The other technicals show you that you didn't want to be buying right there at the top, but it didn't have, other than that probe, that interesting probe, right, that you just kind of boxed.
Yeah.
That sell probe that showed weakness to the down. It was kind of an uncommittal candle. And said, look, we didn't find much down there. Let's keep going up a little bit and see what we find. So you got an arrow, but again, time of day, it's rolling over. We'll have to watch. T3 is turning up, by the way, so that's a great sign that we're going to get up there and cross over like you did further over to the left when it pulled back in and then crossed over and came back down. So if we close that one down, we have, on the smaller time frames, it's easier to get a green HMI and stuff like that. You get that kind of setup. That 240 and higher time frames are easy to roll. They don't roll. It's easy to see them as green, but they won't roll till this move is started. If it turns south and turn to a sell, you won't see those happen right away. That's for sure. But
no, this one might open back up. Right now, it's showing this little move right here.
Correct. It's just the alligator, that little tweezer thing we used to call it, that little tweezer event. But notice above on the HMI, it is neutral. It's neutral on the HMI for that 240, Scott. Even on the 30-minute, the HMI is neutral. Black is neutral. Black is neutral. Up on the lower time frame, that thing, it goes red, black, green, red, black, green, red, black. That one's okay. But in those right there, the 30-minute and the 240, it's neutral. There's movement, but it's neutral. In the 240 candle at the bottom, you've got green. It's still a different set of indicators that paints that HMI, but you also have that wick up. There's a fairly significant wick. It doesn't look too big right there, but if you open it and look at it, that's a fairly significant probe to the top side. It goes up, and now you've got a wick that's showing that said we tried.
Yeah.
And so, and if you'll look, if you just draw a horizontal line across the top of that long run of charts right there, it's kind of self-indicating how that's 240.
Right.
Those 4-hour candles, and it's not getting out of that.
Right.
And candles are getting smaller, things are getting tighter. It's kind of consolidating. So we would be watching for this thing to try to take a roll over.
Right.
The neutral is kind of nice. I've always liked it on that So if you look at the 30 and the 240, but especially on that 240, the paddle, that neutral position for that always was very nice because you don't have to flip from green. It's already setting, saying, look, the math doesn't agree that there's much direction right now, but it can very quickly grab green or grab red.
Right.
And the whole setup, learning to watch what we talked about earlier, was people learning to watch the green arrows, the white dots, and really manage those, and find a way to keep those in your mind. They aren't trade signals, they aren't alerts, they're just the things that you should watch as a confirmer.
Right.
Yeah, you open that chart up right there, Scott, that one. Open that one. If we look, what was the last? You had the arrow down, the one red arrow down earlier. Well, that's what time of day was that? That's end of session for U.S. Free lunch.
This is start of London, so it went down a little bit, and then this was New York. All right.
Okay. So what you're going to be looking for is what's going to happen in these evening sessions, if anything much. Now there'll be some movement, but it may not be predictive enough because it may not have enough power in it. I don't know, but you'll watch for that London session again to see what it's doing. Right.
Right.
That London session was trying to move it down again. The U.S. session said, I want to move it up. So I think it's positioned pretty strongly to have a turn going down to the downside. Don't ever know.
Plus
we're not calling anything.
You got an ABC building right now with potential convergence to the downside. So there. But let's talk about back in here where we see all these dots and everything. And you can see right in here that, you had some significant movement there and you had some significant movement here. And you can also see how these dots were lining up, telling you, hey, we're going to push it down. We're going to push it down. See that?
Correct. And if you look, when you start getting the green dot comes, this is on a 60-minute chart. So that's coming from a 6-hour chart.
Right.
So that's when you get a white dot above it or a red arrow. Now the red arrows are a little bit different, but that white dot. So you realistically, you got one. Let's look at that one chunk you just looked at that had, I'm trying to think where, right to the right of that chunk right there. White dot above, white dot above. You only had one white dot below, and it was further back to the left. There was nothing after that. You started seeing exactly that one. Now you started seeing red arrows and a dot and red arrows and a dot. There's momentum at the higher time frames telling you that we're trying to push it. And look at the blow. Now, I don't know what happened. Was there an event that happened at that big, where you had the big blowout?
No. But you can see you're also making lower highs.
Correct. Correct.
So
it's, the indicators are always there with us. We try to teach the potential for a technical overlap with some of the indicators that we look at, and ours are never one indicator.
Right. So confirmation.
We look at the Bollinger Bands and we play with those, but we don't teach the Bollinger Band as a trade significant thing. But we do talk about, like that long run we talked about earlier today, that long run in a 60-minute chart. That's a 10-minute chart that we're looking at right now.
Right.
That 10-minute chart is having it pushed that. You look at your run on the Bollinger Band where it first touches that Bollinger Band, right to the right of that, right there. Now count how many candles go down before it pulls back inside, Scott. But you notice it pulled back inside right there. And at the white dot, it pulled back inside a little bit.
Right.
That little doji candle got painted, but it really closed in the Bollinger Band or on the Bollinger Band. Right. So it pushed 4 or 5. I always found that 5 or 6, if it pushed 5 or 6 candles and really strongly closed them, it was coming back inside.
Yeah.
And that's a test that people could do there too. Over to the right, when it takes the turn up, it's not a great move, but it just starts moving up and it breaks outside the Bollinger Band. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it comes back inside the Bollinger Band.
Right there. Yeah.
But it's painted. You start playing with this, you'll start seeing you can just count them. They push 3 or 4 or 5. If it gets 6, it's coming back unless there's some massive announcement, something happens, some triggering event in the world where it stays outside the Bollinger Bands.
Yeah, once again, you got an ABC, which is a corrective move to the downside. And
Yep.
put it on here. Now you see it's a bear flag, and this should not surprise anybody at all right there. Close and
Right.
reverse with a big engulfing candle to the downside, to the pip to its target, right? Then to the pip
Yep.
to its target. I mean, doesn't get much better than that. And then you take a look and you see, well, could I have traded that? MACD told you, you might think about this one. See that?
Correct.
Now, the problem is that, the way you trade close and reverses is 1 pip below that green candle is where your entry is.
Correct. Yeah.
So if you traded this correctly, you'd have been in right there, and that would have been your trade right there. See that?
And that's a sweet trade.
Yeah, and your head's up because of the ABC, close and reverse, breakout, engulfing candle to the downside to a known target. And MACD says
with 0 risk. I mean, the risk on that is that you're just on the other side of that, the bottom of that candle. You're not giving it a big stop. You're not.
No, stops
you're not
5 to 7 pips above the close and reverse, just 5 to 7 pips. So when you look at it from a risk reward standpoint, let me clear this up here. From a risk reward standpoint, your stop is right there, and there's your entry at the bottom of that white candle. So that's your risk. There's your reward, and your potential reward is down to the 1,000. So you can see it. So 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5.
Right. And those are the ones you're trying to, but you've got to be in the mindset. When you take everything off of there, you needed to have the setup in mind already that
Right.
ABC was happening so that you knew the bottom side of that, so that you saw the breakout. And the confirmation was the breakout of the close and reverse.
Right. And
That
it also,
engulfing candle.
and it also matched up with this right here. See that?
Exactly that.
Yeah.
That's the bottom of that ABC told you right there that that's where it should break out. If you, in the old days, you could take that and turn it to a 1-hour chart. You don't need to, but people traded that trend line on a 1-hour chart. They traded the break of the trend line, and you just put a stop on the other side of the trend line. If it broke down below it, you traded it. And if it closed you out, we have so many more confirming tools to use now, things that we get to see that we know that help people stay safe. If the traders that we've got watching would take a view of this and really study the little things, you teach all the big ones in our fast track. And
Right.
again, we go back to wanting everyone to get to be a fast tracker. We go back to having a price action course that's affordable. We give you full credit for the price of that. If you upgrade to the boot camp, we give you full credit price. We don't give, if you go up, we're giving you credit. You keep going, you get credit. And a boot camp is a self-guided fast track light. And then we move up to fast track, and we have live fast track trainings. We don't have those all the time, but you have access to all the videos for that so that the training can be done at your own pace, and you still can get in the room. You get a Telegram room. You get all the other things that plug you into the fast track community. That's our highest level. You learn all kinds of little tricks and nuances. Part of the tricks and nuances that you learn is stuff that our charts are the only ones that have it.
Yeah. In fact, if we hold on, let me pull up a chart. So get a mental picture of this one, and then I'm going to import from. Oh, wait a minute, I just want to add a new chart. Where are you? New chart window. Pound yen, GBP, JPY. All right. .f. Here we go. Now, here's what that looks like. That's a daily that's going on to 60. And this is what that looks like here on a regular chart. This is that move right there we were just looking at. You see, it's hard to tell what it's doing here. See, because it's just black and white, and there's nothing showing you. There's no momentum coming in. And, if you're waiting for this candle, you're already too late.
Yeah. And Scott, I want to say something because, people always say, yeah, well, I can put indicators on. You can. Look, TradingView is a big one out there. And if I name them, I'm not dissing them. TradingView, MT4, eSignal, we've used NinjaTrader, all of them. You can put indicators on there, but the struggle gets to be you have to come up with your own set of indicators and your own settings. You can borrow people's off of there. We've done this 20 years. Our charts that you're looking at, these setups have been dealt with for 20 years. So it's one of those things that you just have to consider. Do you want to start working to try to find it? You just need to minimize that one, Scott, and I'll have to close it out for you because it's locked, I believe.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
So it's one of those things that we took literally thousands of hours to accomplish this, and it looks hectic to you, but pick a chart that you haven't done a bunch of work on, Scott. Just that's our charts that's got less stuff on it, so that you can yeah, there you go. There's a basic setup, and if we teach you how to use these charts, I promise you there's enough information on here to make you fairly successful with these really quickly.
Well, you see that these two moving out, this one right here is a 240 and you're above it. That means you have more buyers and sellers. This is the 6. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go down to 10. Hold on.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I got a 10. Okay. So let me see if I can get back to that level right over there. Here we go. Right over here. Right. So when you're on this chart, and this is that move up, right? This is the 240 moving average. You're above it. You have more buyers and sellers there. This is the 60-minute moving average. You have more buyers and sellers there. Now you got a T3 and you got 2 more moving averages in here. You got more buyers and sellers all the way through here, except for this one little place where it dipped and then it went back up again. You see that? And so, you know, that's just a little piece there. You can see the chop in the market that tells you, you know, I better be really leery of this right now. Right?
Sideways.
Yeah. And now what is it telling you? Well, the currency is telling you, I mean, the MACD is telling you, ultimately, you're going to go to the downside. They put one little tip up there and then down they go. See that? That's, you know, all foretold by the charts. The charts tell you what it's trying to do. There are clues in the charts. If a trader learns how to grasp those tools, not just the tools that we provide on the charts, but technical analysis tools of price action, when you marry those two things together, what you end up with is a system that is just killer. I mean, it's just killer for capturing moves.
Yeah. And our traders capture literally hundreds of pips a day. Now, when the market's dead, we don't teach trade. We teach one of the most powerful trades we teach is the wait trade.
Yeah.
That means wait. Don't do that. Don't stick your money in the market unless you know what's going to go on. So don't trade the wait trade. Don't force it to trade. Learn to do the wait trade. Please learn to do the wait trade. Keeping money to be able to trade. We've all blown out lots of accounts. We've blown out accounts left and right. So never doubt that everybody that you know out there in Forex or in the trading, they've blown out accounts, whether it was demo accounts or real accounts. Most all of us that have been in the game any length of time have blown out accounts.
Yeah.
Our goal is still to protect you from doing that as well. So, you know, what we'd like to say is that us showing you this, we have live training on Monday through Thursday mornings with traders in the New York session. We have live charts that we give a demo to, and we get 2 weeks of absolute unlimited. They're not disabled or crippled. They're full-blown charts. You can come in the room and meet with Scott and trade with the traders. Look at the numbers in there. These are real numbers from our traders.
Yeah, these aren't a weekly or a monthly or something like that. Well, this is a weekly, right? Almost
they're cumulative of a trade that's been entered in and stayed in, because we teach, you know, you feed your winners. You stay in those things. You don't grab 5 pips. You put a trade in and you keep those winners going.
Right, exactly right.
So, all right, Scotty. Well, I don't know what else we can do. You can come to proacttraders.com and check us out. I would hope that some people would see this and hope that they could take a shot at it and it costs you nothing to take a test drive.
Yeah.
Give you access to other tools, lots of other tools. You can get an info center that gives you access to all kinds of trading tools. So I think it's something you might want to jump on and see. Yeah, here's our info center that Scott has some things in his that we don't have as a user, but you can get alerts for the 2 weeks that you're doing it. You get alerts that are sent out. They're not trading signals. You get the ATR that we update every day. very accurate tool. We give you all kinds of a trip calculator. That may not make sense to you yet, but if you come in on one of the sessions, we'll promise we'll explain it to you, and it will matter to you. It will matter.
Well, let's just do it on this trade up there. Okay. So let's do this one to the upside. We'll take the trip calculator. Okay, we're going to take the close in reverse right in here. All right. So that entry is 195.12. 195.12. All right. Second trade is going to be above this fib right here, and that's at let me get it out here so I can read it. And we're looking at 195.80. 195.80. All right. And so the second wait, that's a target. No, the target price was 195.96. Sorry, 195.96. Trade 2 though is at 195.80, and now you see what the trade's worth, 116 pips. That little trade,
combining the two trades, that gives you what the total target of risk reward is.
Trade 1 is here, trade 2 is here.
Yep.
And so, the total room that moved is only 60 pips, but it's worth 116. So you make a lot of pips right there. Yeah. Once you learn how to trade price action, right? And there's all kinds of cool things in here, you know.
Yep.
Stop calculator, risk calculator, one click to the rooms, must see videos, and right in here there's all kinds of videos.
Yep.
And the session recap each day is right here, showing you what's coming up next that we think about right there. So you know, there's a lot of stuff here, you know. And correlations, cheat sheet, you know, what happens when you get a fundy? Wouldn't you like to know what the average movement is? There it is right there. All right. See, so there's lots of stuff built into this thing that can really help you become a better trader.
Well, we want them to succeed. So come in and try it. Give it a shot. Go to proacttraders.com, click on the file. You can get a demo of it. We'll fix you up for 10 days, 10 business days. We'll give you 2 weeks of trading. We'll give you 2 weeks of trading for nothing. We do use the dollar credit card, but there's a coupon that says free demo. If you put that in, it gives you all the instructions. It doesn't charge your card. It doesn't cost you, but it verifies that you're real. So don't be afraid of it. We're real people. You can email us. You can email Jerry.Rankin@proacttraders.com or Scott.Barkley@proacttraders.com. You can get in touch with us. We're actually real people every day wanting to help you succeed. I hope that helps you all. Hope somebody chooses to jump in and take a trial run. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, tell everybody you know. Come see us at proacttraders.com. See you.
All right. See you later, everybody. Have a good one.